So Job chapter 12, Job is now responding back to his friends who are still trying to use their frame of reference to understand Job's plight. This is part of the greater challenge of what's happening with Job is he's going, why is this happening to me? What is this? What's going on with my life? What is there to learn? He is having what I would call a faith crisis. He's not giving up his faith. That would be a faith exodus. A faith crisis is where he is trying to understand that what he used to believe maybe wasn't fully correct. And that he's trying to understand a deeper meaning or a deeper truth or trying to understand the deeper wisdom of God and what's happening in his life. And that is a faith crisis. Honestly, that is something we should all be experiencing every so often in our life. If we don't experience a faith crisis from every once in a while, we're not taking time to really understand the gospel. We're not applying it in our lives, and we're not studying it. Because every so often you should come up with a situation where something you thought was true maybe isn't fully true. Maybe it's a little true, but there's this whole other part that's not completely true. And so you need to have that principle questioned to break down what's not true and add more truth into it, to make it more true, to pull it all together more. So that is a faith crisis. Okay, it's just when something you believed was true suddenly doesn't seem to be as true as you thought it was. It's okay to have that. It's totally okay to have that and to ask questions about that and understand things deeper. That is important. We should be having those from time to time. Not all the time, but every so often something should, if we're not coming across something that challenges us or tests us, then we're not living the gospel good enough and we're not studying it enough to get to those moments. We need to work on that. A faith exodus, that's a whole nother story. That's when you have a faith crisis that doesn't go answered, that you don't get those answers, you don't understand what's happening, and then it turns into a situation where you just decide, I'm out, I'm going to do the opposite of Job and go away from God, basically. That's what it is. So Job is a great example of dealing with this debate around these questions that come up. I thought this was true, but my situation is telling me this isn't completely true what I used to think. There's something else here. Am I willing to put my faith in God to understand what it is he wants me to learn through this, the deeper meanings, or am I going to curse God and leave and not learn what he wants me to learn? That's Abraham 3:22 or 3:25. We're going to test you to see if you're going to do the things that we want you to do, keep those commandments. Testing what you believe is part of that, to see if you're going to dig deeper to learn more truth, or if you're going to go, nope, I'm done. I'm going to try to hold on to my belief and not follow more truth. So that's kind of the essence, really, of this whole story of Job, truthfully. So let's get into this chapter here. At verse 1, and Job answered and said, no doubt, but ye are the people, and wisdom shall die with you. But I have understanding as well as you. I am not inferior to you. Yea, who knoweth not such things as these? I am as one mocked of his neighbor, who calleth upon God, and he answereth him. The just upright man is laughed to scorn. He that is ready to slip with his feet is as a lamp despised in the thought of him that is at ease. So again, he's saying, guys, I understand where you're coming from on this, but that's not the right way to think about this. There's a deeper meaning here, and you're not getting it. You're not understanding it. So that's kind of what he's trying to say here. Verse 6, the tabernacles of robbers prosper, and they that provoke God are secure, into whose hand God bringeth abundantly. But ask now the beasts, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, and they shall tell thee. Or speak to the earth, and it shall teach thee, and the fishes of the sea shall declare unto thee. Who knoweth not in all these that the hand of the Lord hath wrought this? So he's saying, look, sometimes wickedness prospers. Sometimes it does pay out. But it's a temporary thing, because God is still in the details of everything. And he's saying, you can go talk to any part of the natural world out there, and they'll tell you that God is involved in this. God has a deeper meaning of this. This is what it's all about. And he says here, let's see. Verse 10, in whose hand is the soul of every living thing and the breath of all mankind. Doth not the ear try words, and the mouth taste his meat? With the ancient is wisdom, and in length of days understanding. With him is wisdom and strength, he hath counsel and understanding. Behold, he breaketh down, and it cannot be built again. He shutteth up a man, and there can be no opening. Behold, he withholdeth the waters, and they dry up. Also he sendeth them out, and they overturn the earth. With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. He leadeth his counselors away spoiled, and maketh the judges fools. He looseth the bond of kings, and girdeth their loins with a girdle. He leadeth princes away spoiled, and overthroweth the mighty. So he's giving this story here, and he's going to go into a lot more examples of this. But he's talking about how God can do amazing things. Yes, he can let the kings have prosperity, but then he can also bring the kings to humility quickly. Things are temporary, and they're all in God's control, basically. So verse 20, he removeth away the speech of the trusty, and taketh away the understanding of the aged. He poureth contempt on princes, and weakeneth the strength of the mighty. He discovereth deep things out of darkness, and bringeth out to light the shadow of death. He increaseth the nations, and destroyeth them. He enlargeneth the nations, and straiteth them. He taketh away the chief of the people of the earth, and causeth them to wander in a wilderness where there is no way. They grope in the dark without light, and he maketh them to stagger like a drunken man. So he says God is in the details. God is in everything we're doing in our life. He is there. He has the control of all of it. He can make it mighty. He can make it weak. That doesn't mean it's bad if he goes one way or the other. It's the way he wants it to be. So that's what Job is trying to talk with his friends about. That this isn't a clear-cut case of I was wicked and so I'm being punished. This is something different. This is understanding the will of God through what I am experiencing. There is a reason behind it, and I need to be willing to go through that to understand it better. In fact, in the next chapter, he's going to get into more of that explanation fact. Chapter 13 is probably one of the more favorite chapters in Job that we hear as far as quotations from. So let's jump over there and get that one as well.